Hello, it's Amy with Just a Little Ink. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today I'd like to share with you a simple Cheerful Daisy card that I've put together for a swap that I do with other demonstrators. And I have a little bit of a tip for how I'm going to attach the linen thread. Something that I came across. It's probably not new, but I think you'll enjoy it. So without further ado, let me start. I'm using the brand new Cheerful Daisies bundle. It's available in our brand new catalog that starts on May the 2nd. For everyone, but demonstrators were able to pre-order this bundle, among other things, the beginning of April. And so just one of the wonderful perks of being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. There are so many more. I have been a demonstrator now for 21 years. I wouldn't look back and wish anything different. If that's something that you're interested in dabbling your foot in, it's a no commitment thing, and I'd love to talk to you about it. So put a comment in the description of this video. I will put a link to the description in this video of how to join, but just a fun thing. So many other wonderful opportunities, but pre-orders are some of what comes along with that. I'm going to go through all the different products. I'm going to use a half a sheet of Misty Moonlight, and if you've been around very long, you'll know that this is a returning color. So Stampin' Up! Has done a complete color refresh with this new catalog. Misty Moonlight was an in color a number of years ago. They brought it back into our normal line. Wonderful set of products, all color coordinated. Love it, love it. I'm also using a piece of the Fresh as a Daisy Designer Series paper, and I'm using probably one of the more boring pieces in that, but at least the side I'm going to show because it highlights the boho blue that I'm using. That is a brand new in color for 2023 to 2025. Look how well it pairs together. I love it. On the other side, you'll see some of the more exciting parts of the Designer Series paper. And then some pieces of basic white. So I need a 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. I need about a 3 1/4 inch piece that I can cut a circle. This is from the Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm using the largest of the circles. And then you want a scrap piece. That's because I'm going to pop up a daisy on the front. And I'm going to use it's about 2 inches by 1 1/2 or thereabouts. This is the beautiful stamp set. Wonderful dies. And I'm really only using one of these for this card because, again, I'm doing a simple card. So let's start. To begin, I'm going to fold this in half. I'm going to pull out my trusty bone folder. Okay, set that aside. I'm going to pull out my pierce mat. I've cut a pierce mat in half. Just makes it easier when I'm videoing. And keep going here. Let's see. I think I decided that doing the back first. This is a 2-step stamp set, so I'm going to use boho blue for my petals. I'll clean that stamp later. It is important that you clean your stamps. All right, and I think I used pecan pie. That's a good question. Pecan pie for that little flower piece on the top, and it'd be great if I knew what that was called, but it's been a while since I've taken botany. So I'll put my center under there. Again, I'll clean that in a little bit. And that is pretty all on its own. However, I want to highlight. So I'm using then Misty Moonlight. That's the color we're using on the card base. And I want to line up my overlay. Let's see how well we did. Sometimes when I'm on the camera, it's not as easy. Actually, it's not too bad. So it gives a nice pop. And I've noticed that the color, the boho blue kind of lightens up a little bit as I keep going. I would then run it through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, cut it out using that one die. And I've already done that ahead of time, so I have a piece here. And then again, I told you I was going to stamp on this piece. So I'm going to use my stem. I've got an old olive pad. The newer pads are a little bit thinner. And I want a scrap piece of paper underneath just because I'm going to do a little bit more than. I'm going to come here, stamp with my old olive, and I'm going to take my leaf, kind of just line it up and into here, like so. That is the extent of that. And then I'm using another in color, Pebbled Path. I'm loving this color. It kind of is not gray. It isn't brown. Kind of something in between. And I love it. It is very fresh. So I'm going to come in. Anytime we're using photopolymer stamps, using the Pierce pad or an old mouse pad, if you happen to have any of those laying around, make just your impression much better. You just get a better inking of everything. So I told you this was super simple, a very simple card. So I'm going to take my die cut flower, use some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. Won't take very many, and I think I want to pull out my paper snips as I knock things out of my cup. My paper snips. I don't need very much. I'm just going to take some snips around the edges. I use all of my dimensionals. So I just kind of come in, grab a little so it pops up here. I want to pop it up on this other end, and I think that's probably enough. Pull those off. It allows me to be selective with where I stick my flower. So let's see, let's come a little higher, like so. So then I am all ready for that. For the inside, let me pull this out again. One more thing I want to stamp. We'll just put it with Misty Moonlight because I can. On the inside, there's some trio of flowers that I really liked, and I thought it made a simple something for the inside. So I'm going to turn around and just put it just for some interest on the inside. So I'm not going to write anything else because I think this is the kind of card you send and write a note in. So before I stick my designer series paper onto the front of my card, I want to add some linen thread. So I've cut 2 pieces. Actually, I've cut 3 pieces, but I've cut 2 pieces that are 7 inches long. And I'm going to attach both of them here. So I kind of want them in about the center. And this was in lieu of wrapping it around twice and then tying a bow on the front. This is kind of my hint for that. So I'm going to come in here and wrap it around. I've got plenty of room, as you can see, to tighten this up. The nice thing when you do it this way is you can get it nice and snug on the front here. And then I can take my Stampin' Seal, come across. I like to add just a little more on top of those. And I'm going to line this up about a 1/4 inch from the bottom on the front, like so. That allows me to have a nice flat piece that I can do without having any of the thread on the inside. That's kind of the advantage of this. I didn't tell you the dimensions on this. This is a 2 inch by 5.5 for there. So then I'm going to take and put dimensionals on the back of my card. Let me find where I threw my dimensionals. I threw them somewhere. Oh, here they are. So I'm going to take and put just a few dimensionals on the back. I want to put this on first, and then I'm going to show you my bow. And I know, like I said, I know it's not new, this technique, but to me it was just land breaking because it just made it so much more simple. So line this piece on the front. Simple looking card, but I loved it. Then I have an 8-inch piece of our linen thread, and I'm going to slide it in. I want to have a little longer toward the bottom here, and I'm going to come up. I don't want to tie it in a knot first, and I'm going to tell you why. If you tie it in a knot, you're going to end up having your bow coming up and down here, and it won't lay flat. So I'm going to come get a loop. I'm going to take with my left hand and wrap around, pull my loop through, and go. And then do you see how it then, without having a knot first, how I then have a bow on the front of my card that is flat, and I didn't have to use as much of the linen thread. And again, I don't have to have it showing up on the underside. Then I'm just going to go ahead and trim like so. To finish it off, I've got one little brass butterfly that I can come and grab my, take your pick tool, pop him off, and I want to just stick one little butterfly right up here as though he's hovering around and going to get some nectar out of that. So then I'll stick my inside piece because I like a light colored piece of cardstock on the inside to write. And like so, you've got a quick, simple card. I have every intention of playing some more with this wonderful bundle. If you are interested, you can order anytime at my website, justalittleinc.stampinup.net. I'll have my current host code is listed as well as a link to my website in the description of this video. Thank you so much again for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.